Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Save the Good Girl podcast. I know my energy is like blah, but because of being authentic and being true to the feelings, I feel very passionate about this particular topic today, about the fact that we really need to value time. We really do. And I feel like people take a lot of this for granted. And I really want to talk about why we need to really value time, because I don't like what I'm seeing. I don't like it. I really don't. And I'm going to use this platform to talk about it. And I hope by the time you're done listening to this episode, you will value time and look at time a little differently. So let's get into it. I have a couple of things to say. We will get back to this fabulous episode, but I just wanted to let you know that you can find Save the Good Girl on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and YouTube. There is also a chance for you to be featured on the show. Check out the link in the description to send me a voice message. In addition to the podcast, did you know that Save the Good Girl has a blog? Be a part of VIP by subscribing to the email list on savethegoodgirl.com. So many options to stay connected. All right, let's get back to the episode. There is so much that occurs in our daily lives. There's so many things that we have to figure out. There's so many emotions that we have. It's like up and down. There's a lot happening, in the world with experiencing this pandemic that's affecting everyone. And we need to do things to escape. We talked about self-care. If you haven't listened to that episode, definitely take a listen. And I think it's important for you to do what you need to do. So if it's watching a show, if it's going to the park, if it's cooking, if it's reading, if it's exercising, whatever it is, right? I think it's really important that we do that. And, we need that. We need escapism, if it's prayer, whatever it is. My biggest concern is that I have seen so often that we have lost what it really means to be present. And I hate it. Like, I really hate it, because I feel like memories are so important. And I don't think we're going to create memories by social media. We're not going to create memories by Netflix shows. Netflix, they're working really hard to produce more and more shows because, now the attention span of people is just so short. So you watch one series, you watch it, you love it, it's great. Now you're looking for the next one, you're looking for the next one, you're looking for the next one. And there's nothing wrong with Netflix. There's nothing wrong with you wanting to watch a movie. There's nothing wrong with you having escapism. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm starting to realize that really being connected and really being present is just dwindling. And we've heard these conversations before that people are just not spending time. Like, they're not spending time. They're not present. They're not here. And I know that when, like, I literally was having a conversation with a friend and we were laughing, just talking about memories from like childhood. We've been friends for so long, and just saying, oh, remember this and remember that, remember this, remember that. I don't remember what shows I watched 10 years ago. I don't know what happened in this episode. I don't remember. But I do remember the conversation, the memories that we actually created. We can really talk about it and laugh. And I realized that when you do talk to an old friend or you do talk to a family member and you're thinking about these stories, you just start cracking up. That can really change your entire mood. It really can change that. And like, I do not like texting. If you're friends with me and we're friends, I'm not a texter. I will text you to a certain extent. I'm not going to write fucking essays to text you. So when how are you? Da, da, da. Yes, I will respond. That's cool. I understand the meaning of texting. I understand that it helps, especially when you're working, you're busy. That's fine. Like, I text, right? So I do text. I do respond. I do reply. Like, but if you're gonna ask me what do I prefer, talking on the phone versus texting, I prefer to talk on the phone. And I feel like if you want to have a close relationship with me and you think you're gonna have that, because I text Erica, it's not gonna work, because I do not like texting. There's many reasons why. I don't like it. One friend that I said, like, oh, well, I like texting because I'm able to do multiple things. Exactly, because you're not fucking present. right? So now you could text me, what's going on? And I text you, and then 5 hours later you respond because you're multitasking. And again, to a certain extent, I understand that, but you can't feel my emotions through a text. You can't. You can't. We can't really foster a relationship through texting. And I understand this generation and people and older, young, it doesn't matter, right? Like everybody just likes it because it's so convenient. It's so convenient. I can text you and I could still do what I got to do, and I could do this and I could do that. Okay. But to be honest, I do appreciate a phone call because it forces you to be present. It forces you to really have a conversation and talk. So for me, the friends that I have that we are close, we have a close relationship. Yeah, we talk on the phone. And if we don't, then we're texting. Like that's just what it is. I don't like it. And I think for so long I'm always a follow-upper. Like, hey, how are you? Hey, what's going on? But I think sometimes after a certain extent you become tired of always being the one to follow up. It becomes very annoying. It really does. And then it's kind of like, well, I'm going to follow your energy. So if you want to text me, no worries, I will text you back. If that's the kind of time that you want, I respect it. Like I'm not mad at you. But that's not my preference, right? So that's just for me. And I feel like how can you have a solid relationship with just texting? Like even if I'm dating someone or talking to someone, I can't text you and that's it. Like we don't talk on the phone at all. I can text you during the day. We can text, for a couple of days. That's fine. But eventually, my point is that I need to talk to you on the phone. I can always tell when someone is distracted. And I mentioned this before in my other podcast that I feel like it's disrespectful to be on the phone with someone who is sharing something with you that may be personal, they're going through something, whatever, and you're distracted. Huh? What did you say? What was the last thing you said? No, I'm not fucking repeating myself because you know what? You're not paying attention because it's not important to you. I gotta go. Okay? All right. That's how I feel. And this episode is gonna be raw because I'm presently in this emotion. And I think that's why my energy is off because I really am seeing how people are so disconnected. They're not present, they're not here. And it's frustrating because people think you have time and you don't. I was just 10 and now I'm in my 30s. It's crazy. I woke up and I'm like, wow, I'm 33 years old. Like that shit is fucking crazy. We don't have that much time. And with things happening right now in the world, you don't know your expiration date. You don't know when your last day is going to be. You don't know when your spouse, when they're going to pass. You don't know your family. You don't know shit. We don't know anything. And people are walking around here just taking time for granted. It just really gets under my skin, as you can hear. And I love surprises. And I'll tell you why. I love surprises because it includes being thoughtful. And when you're thoughtful, that means you're taking time to really think about me. I remember there was a time where I had a really bad day, really, really bad day. My father was working in the city. I worked in the city. So he was on his way home and he was like, oh, I can pick you up from work. I had a really bad day. And without me saying anything, he was able to recognize that. He felt something was off because my voice wasn't the same, my energy wasn't the same. I wasn't really speaking as much. So he had to go put gas in his car. And when he came back, he was like, "Hey, I don't know what's wrong, but here you go." And he gave me Snickers. And that meant a lot to me. And I remember that story because he knew that I like Snickers. He didn't know what was wrong, but he figured this can cheer you up. And to be honest, it's not about the Snickers. It was about the fact that he was able to recognize something is off. And this is the issue that I have where people talking about, oh, check on your strong friends and check on this and check on that, because you're so in tuned with other things that you can't even tell when your loved one is off. You can't tell because you're so into the phone, you're so into Netflix, you're so into the games, you're so into this, you're so into this, the escapism, that you can't even tell when something's wrong with someone because you're not fucking here, right? So I was excited when he was able to recognize, like, ooh, Erica's not herself today. So it's again, it's not about the Snickers. It was more so about the fact that he was able to notice what was going on. And it really kind of like, hey, let me do something. And it meant a lot. And then I think after that, I did kind of share like, oh my God, work was crazy. Like I was able to open up. And I just feel like it's so important to be present, and we are not present. We are not together. We are so focused on the next story and the next this and the next that. And I don't want to seem like I'm kind of double backing on what I'm saying. I think it's important to have your me time. I think it's important to have your self-care. I think it's important to put yourself as a priority 100%. But I also think that we need each other. And I also think that it's important to spend time with your spouse. Notice your spouse, notice your kids, notice your family, and spend quality time. Quality time is not happening in the way that it should. And just as it's important to spend time with yourself, we really, really got to now take a look at the relationships that we have and question ourselves and really say, like, am I really present in this relationship? Like, honestly, like, take yourself out of it. Am I really, really present in the relationship that I have with others? Let's talk about it. If someone asked you, what happened this day, this same day last year on social media, would you honestly be able to remember? Probably not, right? Because there's a lot of stories, there's a lot of things happening every day, there's a lot happening with the news, there's a lot happening in the world, there's a lot of shows coming out, there's a lot of award shows, there's this, there's that. It's a lot going on. You won't remember. You're not going to remember. But if somebody asks you, what is your fondest memory of X? What is your fondest memory of this? Okay. You probably would remember that. It's so important to create meaningful memories because that's all we have. Somebody could take anything from you. They can never take away your memories. And I highly doubt that as we get older, because we're only getting older, right? So as we get older and we're in our 80s and 90s or whatever it is, when your body's limited, when you're not able to move around as much and be quick and just moving around, you're not going to be thinking about social media. You're not going to be thinking about Instagram and Facebook and all of that. You're going to be thinking about your life, right? You're going to be thinking about the things you've done, the people you've met, the conversations you've had, the experiences that you've had. And, back in the day, families would come together for dinner and everybody would talk about their day. And, it was different because we didn't have all that social media. So the connection was different. And now it's kind of like everybody's in their own space. So it's like, whether it's, this person's there, no one's really together unless it's a holiday, And I'm not going to say that for all families, but I'll say that for majority of families that people are not really together anymore. People are just kind of, doing their own thing. And these are the times where you do have certain conversations. You get to know each other a little bit differently. But now it's kind of like everybody's in their own space. And it's the segregation of just not being together anymore. And I'm super corny. I value meaningful relationships. I value time. I like to see people. I like to be present. And listen, there's nothing wrong. You go out, you're eating dinner, you're taking a picture, or you're visiting someplace, you record a video. That's fine. I mean, I do that too. Like, I go to places, or me and my friends are having fun, or we're laughing about something. I like to create memories, and I also like to capture them. And I think that's the great thing about social media, because you're able to capture those memories as well. However, when you are so into it that you're not present, like you really don't know what's going on because you just want to be on your phone the entire time. So you're at this event, but you're not really at this event, right? Because you're kind of like moving around. And I'm corny. I'm corny. I like to do things together as a family. And even in my own family, like everybody else, if you think about it, whether you go to work or you go to school, let's really think about this, okay? If you're working, let's say, just for example purposes, let's say you work from 9 to 5, but you have to leave at 7 o'clock or 7:30 in the morning to get to work. And then you don't get home until maybe 6 o'clock, 6:30 to commute. Then when you get home, you have to eat dinner. If you're married, deal with your husband. If you have kids, deal with your kids, get yourself ready, have dinner, go to sleep, and then do it again. Life has become so routine, right? So granted, are you going to, it's kind of like you see your family in passing. Hey, what's up? How you doing? It was good. My day was good. Da, da, da. Like there's no intentional time. It's more so kind of like a, hey, what's going on? It's not intentional. It's not like, hey, every Tuesday we should do this or every Wednesday we should do that. I think a few weeks ago, my family and I had like a Taco Tuesday night and it was fun. I had a great time. We put the music on. I made the meat. My sister made the guacamole. My brothers cut up the vegetables and all of that together. And it was a good time. We cooked together. We ate together. It was fun. Versus, one person just making something. You come, you eat, you take your food, you go watch your TV show, and nobody hears from you because you're just not here. And it was fun. And now it's like everybody's in their gadgets. So I another time too, a few weeks ago, I wanted to have a girls' night with my family, with my mother and my sister, because I feel like, we have girls' night with friends, we have girls' night with, your family, your cousins, whatever. So I was like, I want to have a girls' night with my mother and my sister. So we had margaritas and we talked. And I learned about my mother and my father, how they met from her view, because my father has his own story. But I learned about how they met. I learned about, her views on being a wife, her views on being a mother, which is different now that I'm older. I'm taking it in a little bit differently. And I've really, really valued that conversation. And it was fun and it was refreshing and it felt good. It really did. And I think that sometimes you need to be the one to be that anchor to start those conversations, because maybe your family, your spouse, your friends, maybe they don't know how. So sometimes it's okay to be that anchor. So I like to do a lot of things with my family. So I was like, okay, let's go bowling. Let's have a game night. Let's do this. Let's do that. But I did get frustrated with them because I'm just like, why is it that if I don't say we should do something, it's really not going to get done? And it's frustrating. It is, because everybody's kind of like in their own, worlds. And my family is not different from anybody else. Like, everybody's family is doing their own thing and trying to figure out this thing called life and dealing with all their emotions. And I get that. But I do feel like there's a time where we do need to go together, because time is not unlimited. We don't know what's going to happen. It's so important that we pause and really be present. It's so important that we learn about our past, learn about our history, share how we feel, have fun, have an ice cream night. Like, I'm so corny. Like, have an ice cream night. I would do something like, I'll have my family, we'll all go around and I'm like, all right, what are 5 things you are grateful for? Like, stuff like that. Like, I love stuff like that. And I try to always instill these activities that we can do together, even with my friends. Like, even if I go to visit a friend and I'm just at their house, like, let's say we're not doing anything, we're just like talking, or they come visit me, I appreciate that. I genuinely appreciate times that we can be together and create those memories, having the girls' time. And there's a lot of relationships that are broken, and not because something happened, not because you did something to me or I did something to you, but it's broken because vulnerability is not in place. We're not talking, we're not hanging out with each other, there's nothing happening. So that's why it's broken. And I do believe that that can be mended. I do believe that, maybe you have to take the first step, and I had to take the first step a couple of times. And again, I'm not saying you have to take the first step all the time, but, really spending time with your spouse. When you think about your work day, your work week, your life, if you're a mother, if you're single, if you're this, if you're that, there's so much going on. And when you think about it, you really don't have that much time. Then you have to sleep. We spend a third of our lives sleeping. We spend a third of our lives sleeping. And we need to sleep to rejuvenate our bodies. We need that so that we can be rested for the next day. So when you really thinking about it, are you really spending quality time with your spouse? Are you really spending quality time with your parents, with your family, with your aunts, with your cousins, with whoever? Are you? Like, you need to challenge yourself and challenge them, because it's really important to mend those relationships, physically do things together, physically be there, have conversations, get to really know people. I realized that people don't really know people because as I've stated many times, growth is not universal. Growth happens at many different times and we're just not present. We're not here. Ask me, Erica, what happened yesterday on social media? I cannot fucking tell you. I really can't. But if you ask me about, when I was 10 and how I was playing with my friends and, when I went on my trip last year and what we did and on the fun memories we had, I can tell you that you're not going to create memories with Netflix, baby. You're not going to create memories with games. You're not going to create memories with apps. you know it's good to have these apps to capture these memories, but we have to really create these memories. We really have to be present. I have no idea what happened last week in social media. I don't, but I can tell you what happened last year. I can tell you what happened when I was 10. I can tell you what happened when I was 7. So I feel like we need to be intentional with our time. We need to put our phones down and look at people in the eyes. We need to not focus just only about texting and I texted you and that's my way of communication. Fuck that shit. I hate it. Oh my gosh. I do not care for it. Again, I don't mind it during the week. You're busy. I'm busy. Cool. But there are people who legit all they do is text. That's good for them. And guess what? I'm not judging you if that's you. But I feel like in order to have a meaningful relationship, you do need to do a little bit more than just texting, hey, what's up? My response, nothing. How are you? Like that's how it is. And meanwhile, the whole world is crumbling. Like I'm going through whatever. I'm not gonna write an essay for you, sweetie. I'm sorry. If you really want to know what's going on with me, pick up your fucking phone that you're paying for that's unlimited anyway. All right. And have a conversation. People are not doing that anymore. Do not let life consume you and you lose sight of what's really important in life. Do not let that happen because it's unfortunate that it takes someone to have something so dramatic happen to you for you to really value time. For someone to be sick, for you to value time. For someone to be in a hospital, for you to value time. For someone to not physically be on this earth anymore, for you to say, wow, I wish, I should have, I could have. We can change that today. And I want to challenge you to really be intentional, really think about your relationships, and really see how you can maximize the time that we do have because we don't have much of it. We don't have time unlimited. We have no idea what's going to happen with us tomorrow or our loved ones. Yes, people have goals, they have plans. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people that had plans who passed away this year due to the pandemic. Okay? There's a lot of people that have to experience pain and agony of people who are sick and they can't be with them the way they used to. They can't do the things the way that they used to. There's a lot of people who wish they had a friend. They wish their families was here. And here you are, blessed to have that capability and you're not using it on demand. You have a premium life package and you want to keep your shit basic? I just don't understand that. We have a lot of things we need to do to release, but hanging out with a friend, calling them, FaceTiming them, being there for the family, getting to know your history, getting to know your spouse, really understanding what's going on. Because time and spending time can help reveal a lot of answers. Oh, this is why my babe is like this. Oh, this is why it's like that. Vulnerability happens with time. It happens with spending time. You want me to be vulnerable with you and you want to text me WID? Okay. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen. There's no way that I can be vulnerable with you with WID. Oh, that's crazy. Hey, what's up? Just checking in. Good. You checked in. I'm going to check in too. I'm fine. How are you? I'm good. Great. And I'm not lying. Anyone who knows me knows I'm not going to text you a soliloquy. I'm not going to text you an essay. That's just not how I rock. And I think that we're losing that essence because texting it's so convenient. Yeah, because you don't have to be present. You don't have to hear the emotions. You don't have to deal. You just, first of all, I told you one thing I hate. I hear you. I feel you. You feel me through a text? Let me tell you, I really, I don't like it. I don't. But I do feel like life is a long practice. It's a long practice. It's a long scrimmage. All right. And we have to stretch, and we're constantly learning. We're practicing, we're failing, and we're winning. But guess what? If you are listening to this podcast today, you have the power to challenge yourself, challenge the people in your life, and say, no, we need to spend time. We need to do something together. This is what I think we should do. Why don't we have a girls' night, a boys' night, a chill night? Why don't we just go get some ice cream? Why don't we walk in the park? Why don't we set time for a call today? Voice notes. Like, the great thing about technology is that they do make it easier for us to stay communicated, but it's the way that we use it. It's not ideal anymore. And again, I'm not talking about like your spare time and your me time. I want to make that clear. I'm talking about the fact that you and I and many people who have aspirations, dreams, and goals, who are chasing that, who have to work for a living, who have all these ideas and all these emotions, they need to be exerted somehow. And we need to spend quality time. Don't let watching hours of Netflix pass you by, playing video games pass you by, constantly on your phone pass you by. Look at the people in the eyes, talk to them, get to know your family, get to know your friends, ask them what's going on, make it intentional. Don't do a passerby. Be intentional. When you out there getting drinks and brunch, really, take your little picture. Ooh, look at these drinks. Ooh, look at these drinks. Oh my God, so cute, so pretty. Look at the environment, so pretty. But when somebody's talking, be there. Be intentional, because this is where you're going to see what's really going on. And we have to value time. We have to take the time to value time. We need to focus on being thoughtful. We need to focus on being present. We need to be intentional. And I'm passionate about it because I'm seeing how many people are. And again, for me, I love spending time with people. I love physically being there. I love talking on the phone. I love the intentional part of it. I love the, hey, Erica, what are you doing today? Let's hang out. Oh, I haven't heard from you in a while. Let me give you a call. I appreciate that. And as much as I appreciate it, I give it back. So we really need to focus on time. Okay. We're only getting older, and there's still time for us to make it up. That's the beautiful thing. If you're listening to this podcast, you're breathing, guess what? You have an opportunity to change today. But let's really focus on how we really, really value time and how we look at it, and utilize that as an anchor to really be present with the people that we love in our lives, and also with ourselves. It's vital that we create meaningful memories. It's vital that we take a moment to really analyze our lives and the people that are in it, how they're contributing to it, and how we can maximize that time with the people that we love and the people that we care about. It's vital that we mend our relationships to get closer. It's vital that we spend time with God. We spend time with our family, our spouses, etc. It's vital that we know how to balance technology, how to balance when to put the phone down, how to balance when to put the phone up to capture these moments, right? Because we need the photos and the videos and stuff like that. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. I was watching a Jay Shetty video, and he said, when asked from the Buddha stated, time is free, but it's priceless. You can't own it, but you can use it. You can't keep it, but you can spend it. And once it's lost, you never get it back. You can always get more money, but you can never get more time. Steve Jobs said that your time is limited. Don't waste it. Time flies, but you are the pilot. Steve Jobs also said something very powerful, where he talked about he has at the times, and still, the most influential businesses out there, which is Apple. And with all the money that he had, he said, guess what? There's no one that I can pay to kind of take this cancer away from me. There's no one I can pay to deal with this cancer for me. So all the things that he's done, and people have iPhones and the technology, and now Apple is worth $2 trillion and they're doing great. He's created many opportunities for other people and etc. And that's awesome. But just to show you how valuable time is when you're at that point, do you think Steve Jobs, when his last days, do you think he was thinking about Apple? Do you think he was thinking about my business, my money, my this, my that? No. No. And he said he wasn't. So I'm not saying it just to say. He said he wasn't. He's thinking about, he wanted to spend and be surrounded by his loved ones. He wanted to be around his family. He wasn't thinking about my stocks, my this, my that. You can make more money all the time. People look at money like it's everything. Money does not buy happiness. If that was the case, why are so many people committing suicide who are celebrities, who are worth $100 million, $50 million, $80 million, yet they are drinking, they do drugs, they have all of these issues? Money does not buy happiness. We need it to survive. Yes. Yes. You need to be on the grind. Yes. But when you are on the grind, take time to be present, however that may be. Put it in your calendar. Be intentional. If you're that busy, yeah, maybe you do need to do something every Tuesday. Maybe you do need to do something every Wednesday. Maybe Sundays don't work for you and your family. Maybe it's Friday nights. I don't know. Figure it out. Challenge yourself. Do not be okay with this norm, the routine, the same routine. Do not be a passerby with your spouse. Do not be a passerby with your family. Be intentional with them. And really sit there and talk. Really find out what's going on. Now people talk, they can't even talk without being on their phones. They can't, they have to scroll. They got to see what's going on. You can't even have a fucking conversation because you have to be on your phone. You have to scroll. You need that distraction. And guess what? It's perfect for the social media apps. It's perfect because then the longer you're on social media, the more money they get paid, the more advertisers they have, the more ads you're going to see. So they like that. They need to make it colorful and pretty and sparkly and da da da. They need to do that so that you can be present with them, right? Your time is limited. Do not waste it. Time flies, but you are the pilot. We are only getting older. And when I'm in my rocking chair and my feet and my body is limited, I'm not going to think about social media. I'm going to think about the time and the valuable memories and the fun times. And this happened this time and this time and that time. I want to live. I want to live. I want to be present. I want to travel. I want to love. I want to just be. I want to be a memorable person. I want to impact the world. I want to inspire. I want to be present. You need to deposit meaning conversations, meaningful memories, meaningful time with people, because when you do have those rainy days, you can always withdraw from your bank of memories. The same thing when they say save for a rainy day because you never know. Yeah, that's how I feel about our time. That's how I feel about life. Save your memories for a rainy day because you never know. You never know. Do not take for granted the breath that you're taking today. Do not take for granted that you are able to listen to this podcast today. Do not take for granted the hugs, the love, the kisses, the jokes, the laughs, the tears, the overcoming, the triumphs. Don't take that for granted. When you talk to someone and you see their voice is cracking or their energy is off, challenge them, because in that moment, they could really need a conversation. They could really need inspiration. They could really need someone to remind them of who the fuck they are, because in that moment, they forgot. Look at people in the eyes. I keep saying that. You know why? Because people don't do that anymore either, because they're on their phones. They're not with you. Look at your friend in the eye. Look at your spouse in the eye. Look at your family in the eye. Really look at them and see what's going on so you can capture what's happening. Don't spend your life focusing just only on the phone, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Twitter, on WhatsApp, on this, on that. There's so many different things. Have it. We can utilize social media for sure. We can utilize technology for sure. I mean, I do. I'm not going to sit here and say that I don't. I definitely do. But I think that As I've started to experience things in life, health scares with family members, certain things that has happened to friends. My friend told me that she was in an accident, and thank God she's here today, but she was in a really, really bad accident. I mean, the car is totaled and her life could have been gone. And it was just like, wow, you literally talked to someone today and they're gone. Take the opportunity to travel far if you need to see that friend. Take the opportunity to really, if your parents are still here, spend time with them. Get to know them. Get to know your family. Get to know your history. Call your cousins. Introduce being present, because some people don't know how to do that. Introduce being present. If you need to, share this episode with people who need to learn how to be present and how important this is. Create legacies. Legacies are created with moments. Moments are created with intentionality. Legacies are created with moments. Moments are created with intentionality. That's not no quote. That's from Erica herself. This is something that I literally just came up with just now. When you create a legacy, when you hear these stories, be in the story. Be the story. You get to write your life. You get to start the change. And if you look at things differently and you can be that anchor for your friends and you could be that anchor for your family, imagine what it can do for others. I don't know who's going to be touched by this episode or who's going to say, you know what, she's right. But if you're able to take this episode and you're like, you know what, I want to be more intentional, I have done my job. I have fulfilled my purpose, because I'm telling you, I am present in the emotion right now, because I started to notice how people are and I don't fucking like it. And I wanted to have, because my podcast is called Save the Good Girl, and I want to save, okay, the way we look at people and the way we value our time together. And I really hope that you're able to now listen to this podcast episode, really let it sink in, really, really challenge and think about how you are when you're on trips and, doing the corny stuff, or you're like, you know what? Yeah, I do need to find a day. Divorces happen because of miscommunication, and also people need time and attention. You could work, you could be on the grind. You don't think your spouse would appreciate thoughtfulness? You don't think your family would appreciate thoughtfulness? You don't think that telling your spouse, babe, you know what? We've been so crazy with work today. I wanted to do a little picnic in the park. I'm that corny. I like stuff like that. And my future husband, I'm going to make him listen to this episode because he needs to understand what kind of woman he's about to get. Okay? I like corny stuff like that. I love little notes just because I like, I like that. I love that. I love it. And I think that we need to really challenge ourselves, challenge each other, take a look at what's happening in our environments, be present, focus, understand that it's a new day. Sometimes we need to take initiative. And if you feel like there's some type of lacking in terms of being intentional, yeah, you might have to take initiative. I definitely am the one to take initiative because I like to create those memories, and you may have to do the same thing if you and I are on the same wavelength. If you are not, if you are that person who loves to text only and all day and every day, that's fine. Maybe you like to see people in person, so do that. I don't remember texting conversations. I'm just going to be honest with you. I remember when we were together. Be together. Be present. Love the people who are here today. Do not take your breath for granted. Create your legacies. Create your moments. I need you to really see your kids, see your spouse. Spend a little time playing in the park. Spend a little time being romantic. Spend a little time with your parents. Spend a little time with your siblings. Because God forbid, when our parents are no longer here, it's you guys that have to be the hold the glue together. Spend some time. Laugh, joke, cry, share, be vulnerable, be present. That is my ask. I hope that you're able to just see my view and my passion for this. Because I live out what I say. And I really like, when I tell you I love spending time with people, I genuinely do. And, they talk about love languages and stuff like that. I love quality time, but regardless of love language or not, that's just who I am. But I feel like regardless of what your love language is, quality time should be standard at best. This is not like, oh, I like this and you like that. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Quality time should be standard. Be on the grind. Work hard. Feel the feelings. But understand the grind, the business, the money means nothing when the person you love is no longer here, when the person you love can't do the things they used to. Value that. Your time is limited. Don't waste it. Time flies, but you are the pilot. Whew, I had to breathe because I really felt this, and I feel very passionate about it. And I truly believe that you have the opportunity today to be intentional, to value your time. Don't waste it. Be on the grind, do your business, perform at work and be on social media, check out Netflix, play your games, do whatever you need to have your self-care moments. But don't forget about the real moments. Don't forget about the physical moments. Don't forget about the people moments as well. Be corny. Have every Tuesday, every Wednesday. Look at your calendar. See what works for you if you're that busy. Get to know your family. Get to know your friends. Get to really know your spouse. Get to really know yourself. And you can only do that by spending more time. Enjoy it while you can. Make your memories. Create your think tank for yourself. Create your memory think box when there is a rainy day. Laugh, smile, cry. Do all of these things together. And I really hope that you were able to find value in this episode. I hope that you were able to challenge yourself and challenge others in your life. I really hope that this will allow you to really just look at how you're living your life on a weekly basis. And I really hope that you're able to create more memories and really create a strong legacy and a strong foundation for you and the people that you love. And if you did find value, please share this episode with someone else, because the whole purpose of me doing this is to inspire and motivate others. And I really hope that by listening, you were inspired. And if you were, share it, because this can really help someone else and challenge the way that they're thinking. I'm so excited that you spent this time with me, and I cannot wait to see you again on the Save the Good Girl podcast. And if you heard this, you have purpose. I'm your host, Erica, and I will talk to you next week. Bye.